Thank you very much. My name's Sylvester Osazuwa. I know many times you'll bite your tongue pronouncing the second name, but don't worry, Sylvester will do for me. I apologize, I don't have a presentation on a PowerPoint, but I'll tell you one or two things about Uganda. I'm sure not many of you will wonder, where is this country called Uganda? But if I tell you that it was ruled by a man called Idi Amin, then maybe a few of you who were in the 70s can remember. Idi Amin did a few things, including, he sent away, we had a big Indian community. He sent them away. He gave them 90 days to leave the country, and they left all their property behind. That was Idi Amin. Uganda is in East Africa, bordered by Congo on the west, Sudan up in the north, Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda. Rwanda is our neighbor, small country, and Idi Amin threatened to conquer it in one day if they ever made noise. Uganda is famous for being the source of the Nile. The Nile, one of the longest rivers in the world, starts its journey from Jinja in Uganda. It comes through Sudan up to Egypt. I told my friends from Egypt that we shall give them the Nile. We'll continue to, when I go back, I'll tell my government to continue giving them the Nile. Let them give us forensic knowledge. They are more developed than us. Uganda has, from one end of the country to another, it's like a box, a small box, about 500 kilometers from one end to the other, maybe 400 kilometers across. The longest distance from one end of the country, farthest end, is maybe 800 kilometers. There are 33 million people in this small box. And it was a British colony, got independence from Britain in 1962, but since that time, it has had a lot of political upheavals. There have been a lot of sham elections and a number of coups. Presently, it is ruled by one man called Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who has been in power for the last 26 years, and is seeking another election. Actually, right now there is a lot of election fever in Uganda. Disasters. Yes, we've had our fair share of disasters. Last July, on the last day of the World Cup, the Football World Cup in South Africa, as Ugandans were watching this football, Ugandans are very enthusiastic about football. We had suicide bombings. We lost 7 to 8 Ugandans. These were almost simultaneous at two places, and these were carried out by terrorists. Earlier this year, we had mudslides. It rained so much in a mountainous area, and we had like 300 people buried alive. A few years back, we had one of the vice presidents of Sudan called John Garang. His helicopter crashed just outside Uganda. During the political upheavals, during the time of Idi Amin, an estimated 300,000 to 500,000 people disappeared. During the time Museveni took over power, he actually waged a guerrilla war, an internal war, and this conflict claimed up to 800,000 lives. So this is our situation. We have had enough. We've had more than our fair share of people disappearing. Right now, we still have cases of ritual murders, and where you find an unidentified body, maybe a woman with a breast cut, a man with the genitals missing, and sometimes, yes, we have these challenges. Are we prepared for the disasters in Uganda? We have only 4 forensic pathologists who, with the help of South Africa, got diplomas in forensic medicine. We have about 20 anatomical pathologists who did 4 months during their course in forensic pathology, and these are the people who carry out forensic autopsies. However, in the rest of the country, we have medical officers ill-trained who actually only look at bodies. They hardly ever open bodies, and these carry out maybe up to 90% of the autopsies. I mean, I don't know if I would call it autopsies. We have challenges. We don't have a national register. So, like when we had this natural disaster where about 300,000 people were buried in landslides, you could not even begin to say who are these because there was no national register. We don't have a register for fingerprints. This country of 33 million people, there is one DNA machine which more often than not breaks down. We have no framework for medical legal services. It's under real Ministry of Health, but it's almost like on individual, you are consulted on individual basis. We have no guidelines for medical legal services. When we had these twin bomb blasts, it was difficult for us to have guidelines on as to what to do. There is no national policy on disaster management, let alone having even forensic scientists. Like we did not even go to this area where the 300,000 people were buried. But in all this, is there any hope? Yes, I think there's a ray of hope. Right now, we've got friends who are interested in developing forensic medicine in South Africa. I'm grateful to the Victorian Institute of Forensic Medicine and the Federal Police of Australia. They're trying to help us build capacity, both for medical and for the police. We have had the Netherlands government, it wants to develop capacity in forensic sciences. We had the European Union, we have the United Nations Population Fund. All these are interested like in gender-based violence. So we are trying to build capacity and build structures. Our government is picking interest also in the forensic services. We're trying to draft some guidelines and then see if we can chart the way forward. And I'm grateful for this meeting we have met here. I hope you will all come to Uganda one time and see the place Churchill called the Pearl of Africa. Our motto is, for God and my country. Thank you.